Hello, good afternoon, good evening, depending on your location. My name is Adegoke Omotola, the author of the book Customer Retention and Experiential Approach. I'm just showing up uh, to add some value on my book and also to speak concerning how we can retain our customers even during times of disruption. What is happening globally right now is that, there's certain places where it's quite a challenge to retain customers, and so I'm just going to be speaking and adding value on how you can retain your customers using my book, and obviously speaking to what is happening globally. My name is Adegoke Omotola, the author of the book Customer Retention and Experiential Approach. um, so the first thing we need to realize is that uh, during a crisis, uh, you know, our customers need to hear from us. So we need to be very proactive and be very transparent, share as much information as possible, particularly when it concerns delays um, and the measures that we're taking to ensure that, our customers are safe. For example, contingency plans that have been made to ensure that our customers can still, enjoy our services. And also, it builds trust if we're able to provide and communicate effectively to our customers. So, very important that we communicate, even in times of when there are disruptions. And we also prioritize, safety. Like I said earlier, safety of our customers is very paramount. Um, then, secondly, it's important to show empathy. Put yourself in your customer's shoes. Yes, put yourself in your customer's shoes and be humane as possible. The human side to show up, in order to ensure we're able to retain our customers. The tone of our language, in terms of acknowledging the stress that they might be going through, and also reassuring them that we're taking the necessary steps to make sure that there's service recovery. Um, you know, Retention, takes different shapes and different formats, but the most important thing is to show that we care. People don't care how much we know until they know how much we care. And obviously, when we talk about communication, it's so important to realize that we should have channels of communicating, the touch points. Make sure those touch points are functional. And with this era of AI, chatbots and so on and so forth, using that too. And we can also collaborate. Collaboration is very important as well. Collaborate with our partners. um, it's not a time to do business in silos. Collaboration really extends uh, our frontiers, and it helps us to add value to our customers. Sometimes we may have limitations, but because our partners operate, in in areas of strength, we can leverage on those communities. Then also in terms of payment, flexibility in terms of payment, uh, we should have more options for them, uh, so that they can still patronize us. Because if we have just a few options, then it constrains or it affects our revenue. So, like I said, if we want to retain our customers, even during a time of crisis, uh, we need to communicate, we need to collaborate, we need to show empathy, and make sure that all our touch points, whether it's WhatsApp, whether it's Instagram, whether it's Facebook, whether it's LinkedIn, all those platforms are up and running. And also, we need to retrain our staff, so that they would know what to say and how to communicate, because things are very fluid, and it's very important to realize that without our staff being empowered, it makes even the situation more complex. So I would say that it's not a time to panic. For my book, customer retention and experiential approach, you have the first time customer, you have repeat customer, you have advocates, and you want your customers to still be your advocates even in times of crisis. And we can also pivot, and offer uh, different products, still cross sell, while during the time of crisis. So it's very important to realize that our customers are in with us for the long term, and whatever we do, we put value first. We put value, making sure that we want to create that enabling environment for our customers to realize that we're not just the need for the sprint, we're in it for the marathon. So as I conclude, just showing up to add value even at this time to speak to how we can retain customers during challenging times. We need to share that the fact that even while they go through those challenges, we need to share in the journey, and don't be detached. We need to engage them and ensure that there is that focus of loyalty. And ensure that we prioritize retention over acquisition, because even while we want to try and make profit, retention is very important. If we can increase our retention by between 5 to 25%, then we can grow also our profit by as much as sometimes about 50%. So we should reward loyalty even at this time. For those customers that show up, we should ensure that we communicate, show empathy, and we can also put in loyalty programs, to ensure that they can get some points for using our products. And as I conclude, rapid dispute resolution, ensure that we don't leave our customers, having so much uncertainty and there's no information out there for them. So our touch points must be up and running. We must show empathy and we must communicate. So um, I reckon I've been able to add value to you. Once again, just showing up to add value on customer retention, speaking, taking some nuggets from my book. So I hope you have a wonderful day. Thank you so much for tuning in. Once again, my name is Adegoke Omotola. Have a great day. Thanks. Thank you.